Hello, everyone. It is Matt, yours truly, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. And I am here to talk about, you guessed it right, Eurovision in a slightly different format, a little later than usual. But what was there to talk about? We got pictures, but at least I wanted to jump on here for just a little while so we can talk about what happened throughout the day. And of course, hopefully, unless the EBU is extra slow today, we'll react to the rehearsal 30-second snippets as seen on TV together and what they have in store for us. I am super excited. I'm especially super excited because today is the day, y'all. I am leaving. I mean, it's a 2-day journey for me because I have a layover in Paris, but I'll leave actually this evening, my evening, in about 9 hours or something like that, on my way to Paris, and I am stoked. I've been waiting for this, and I feel like I'm missing out on everything, but it is what it is. Hello, everyone in the chat. So glad that you are here. So right now, as you can see, it's just me. My team in Liverpool is running around like crazy because there are like a gazillion interviews and social media events that they have to attend. And good thing is, though, Gabe will join us in just a little bit as well. And if I have to leave because I have to go to the airport, then he will take over. So I know that out of the countries today, we had 11 semi-final. 2 countries rehearse for the second time. I'm both counting, and that means we get probably a few more pictures, but no additional clips until later on in the evening. So I have been busy, trying to find enough sweaters and jackets for my trip to Liverpool, because I'm not sure if you follow me on Twitter, but it's gonna rain the entire time I'm there, which is really annoying because I got a hotel fairly close to the arena, so I can just walk. It's like 10 to 15 minutes. By the time I get there, I'll be soaked. So got to invest in a poncho as well, I guess. So, and the video should be out again, probably at 9:30. The last time I checked, they have not put it online at 9:30, forgive me, 9 o'clock. And so hopefully they'll stick to that schedule. So then we can react to this together. In the meantime, I would like at least use the opportunity to go through what has happened today, and of course answer your burning questions if you have any, or any updates on what is happening. And I got something to drink. Co is saying layover at CDG. Good luck. Arm yourself with patience and make sure to come early enough. It's massive. And I'm actually flying into Orly or whatever it's called. I'm flying into that airport. So we'll see how that one's going to go. So I got plenty of sleep tonight, and then I will do my best to fall asleep on the plane. I got my sleeping pill. Well, it's not sleeping pill, it's a sleeping aid, that you can buy over the counter. Just something that helps you relax and doze off. Hopefully that will happen. And then 11 hours or so later, I will land in Paris. And yeah, and then I'll make my way to Liverpool the next morning by train this time, because there was no direct flight to Liverpool until like 9 in the evening. And I'm like, I'm not going to wait that long. So yeah, that's my story. So while we're at it, as always, thank you so much for all of your support. Osiros is, of course, in the chat. Again, thank you so much just for the past few days, helping us out as always. If you want to help out as well, not just leave it on one poor person, let me know if you want to kind of help out as a moderator in the chat, especially over the busy rehearsal days. Just let me know on here or send me a message on Twitter, something like that, and we can look into that. So that being said, I think we should go ahead and jump into some of these pictures that were posted throughout the day on the website. I'm sure some of them you already have looked at. Unscripted wants to help. Let me see if I can find you in the chat here. Add as moderator. There you go. No pressure, but you better not mess up. No, so I'm kidding. So just helping, because we are the nice people here. We want to keep it nice, friendly, and inclusive. No insults, no yelling. Exactly. So forgive me, I'm a little not dehydrated, I'm thirsty, I guess. So here we go. Let me start. So we started today with Cyprus, right? So I'm going to bring up the pictures and share those with you. And I haven't seen them yet. So for me, it'll be my first impression. I saw them from a couple of days ago, so I have at least an idea. But whatever new we're getting, that'll be new to me as well. Faith Thomas, you want to help too? Thank you so much for offering. I'll put you on the moderator as well. I mean, I feel like Oscars has become the main moderator, so listen to the advice. But yeah, any help is, much appreciated. So anyways, as you can see, I knew that it's going to be fire and water, the battle, I guess, with him. I saw it on the last pictures, and here we're getting a slightly better idea on how that is going to look like. Ray Mapper, absolutely, you can become one as well. You've always been so always such a big participant here. I really appreciate that. So standard moderator, there you go. Okay. And then, as you can see, they move over to the water. They get some smoke. I said it. I love the staging. It's maybe not the most unique concept, fire, water, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but it's all about the execution. And I think I like what they're trying to do. Of course, I have to see the camera work, but the idea, I'm absolutely behind it. And look at it. How pretty is that? That is really, really pretty. So, yeah. You can honestly say I wasn't necessarily expecting them to go with this theme, but hey, why not? I would love to hear from you all as well what your thoughts are at ESC9. Do you think you like it, or do you think that's kind of missing the point of the song? I personally think you can make a case maybe the story may not ask for that, but I don't think people will overthink it. I think it just looks pretty and really just elevates the song. This is another really pretty shot. He's wearing the same outfit as he was last time. So yeah, I'm a fan of this staging based on the pictures. Again, I need to see the picture, but you just have, every once in a while you see pictures and you know exactly what they're going to do with the camera work. In other cases, you're like, I have no idea. So here, I'm sure that is kind of how it works. He's winning the semi. This looks actually pretty good. I love the waterfall. Looks powerful. Everyone is saying that part looks good. So a lot of people really, really like the picture here. So I am a big fan of the staging. So we got 11 to go through. And then as said, when you talk to me, always at ES United in the chat so they jump out at me and I know you're talking to me. All right, let's go back. And Cyprus, Iceland. Iceland had like the options divided. Some people thought it was too empty, and now they're worried about her staging. I personally liked it. I don't know what to envision with that staging, so maybe I had just realistic expectations. So what I saw in the first pictures, I was fine with. But you know what it was? And I think we get it even more today. Delia, her personality and charisma is just boom in your face. And I think it's going to make a huge difference. So we get green, and I think green is underutilized this year. I think it's a really pretty color on stage. It's very dark though, and then just the colors. I know that comes blue, yeah, right here, blue and green with her silver outfit, and yeah, she just shines. She is just so charismatic, and I'm just really a big fan of her. She makes the staging, her whole thing, very dramatic because she does this whole weird dance as she gets up, and it's very powerful in that, no pun intended. So I do like it. I can hear people saying why we got, every other artist is lying down this time around. She has a platform, right? So what they need to do with this staging, though, and that's my only concern, and maybe the 30-second snippet will give us a little bit of an idea that it's not too empty, because it's just her, right? Not many crazy fireworks. It's just oh wait, actually, maybe they are. Now this is also the screen. So it can not too many far away shots. I need a lot of close-ups, kind of like that. So yeah. So overall, I do like the first impression. I do like it. And this one, I know that Delia will deliver live vocally and energy-wise, so I'm not worried about that. It really, for me, comes down to the camera work, the cuts, and what else they have planned. Because this is probably a little bit more difficult to judge just by looking at it. But I'm optimistic about Iceland. What do you all think? What do you all think about that? I see it's really nice to see other colors besides red. Alisa is saying, people still talking about Andrew there. Sadly, I think Iceland stands very little chance of making it. I think Iceland is not out, but I know that it's going to be a little of an uphill battle, I think as well. But I think still, beautiful staging. Beautiful staging. All right, Greece. Now, that was the more talked about clip, or I should say from TikTok and the pictures, because, we had 18 victors on screen, and, he's wearing a costume that makes it look like he's going on a safari. I know they want to really highlight the story of him being young, because he wrote that song when he was 14, I believe, and now he's still, he's barely old enough to take part in Eurovision. So let's take a look here. And Aldine says about Iceland, it's going to look so magical and the charisma will carry it through. That's why I'm not counting out Iceland. Song's not on my radar per se, but it could be a similar situation we had last year with Iceland. People didn't think it was going to qualify, and then they just likability and the warmth that the song had, it just wasn't enough. We'll see. Anyways, so there is an orangey moon in the back. Oh no, he's lying down as well. Oh dear. That is a lot of lying down. Oh, and the jumping. He has also his very typical bounce, that he does. I hope, I think that is back. Then he bends always very interestingly. That always hurts my back just looking at it. Smoke. So many performances, so much smoke. And yeah, the Greek letters in the back. The picture seems like almost avoiding all the backdrop, the LEDs of what we talked about. That's what I'm talking about. Ouchie. Yeah. We don't get more screenshots of what I was hoping for here. Screenshot pictures. But we kind of know it's a little bit more golden-y, orangey. That's pretty. See, they should have stuck with that. But maybe it'll take. I feel like it's a deliberate decision not to have the LED in the pictures. I don't know. What do you guys think? The orange moon creates celestial spacing. It gives an ethereal moment. That's a fair statement, yeah. Everyone's lying down, have their faces on the LEDs and or have red pink staging. Isn't that funny how every year there seems to be a fad or a trend? One year it was far away shots. One year was blue. Remember, what year was it where everything was blue? Everyone had blue, 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 blue. Was it 2018, 17? I don't remember. So yeah, it's always very interesting. This year's theme, a lot of smoke and lying down on the floor. Exactly. That is kind of what it is. So let's move on. So I'm not running out of time. Is Poland the most viewed TikTok, I think, of them all besides Norway? I wonder where those views came from. Interestingly enough, though, to be fair, the last time I checked, Blanca shot up quite a bit in the betting odds. So apparently there was a really good response to her performance. So although it was also polarizing, she has her dance break, which again is the new key change in Eurovision. And honestly, though, to be fair, I always said Poland is probably going to qualify. People don't understand it's a very light, easy song, but it's darn catchy. And I think people find it very sweet and likable. And it's not, they don't overthink it. So I also had Poland as a qualifier from before the rehearsals. I watched my prediction video. I mean, the team overruled me because they silly. And I love the color scheme. I thought the purple orange looks really, really pretty. And I know what people are saying, Eleni Ferreira and Chanel copies, but they did not invent this style either. It's just like they had famous moments at Eurovision. Chanel was compared to Eleni Ferreira in the beginning as well. So it'll always happen. Those songs like Cyprus and Spain just happen to be more popular with the masses. This one, not so much. And by masses, I mean Eurovision masses. I still think, I mean, while this shot is nice with the beach, it still looks like a beer commercial to me, because if you have all this, like when someone is at the beach, like then you see someone holding a beer bottle right in front of it. That's just what I think when I see that one. So, yeah. The 4 dancers doing what they're supposed to do, dance. And that's where they walk up the catwalk together. I'm curious what part they're going to give us. Are they going to give us the music, the dance break as well? The clip, kind of what Israel has done? I'd laugh. No, I do think it looks nice. I do think it looks nice. And I think people are, I don't know if they're sleeping on Poland, but I think it would be foolish to ignore their chances. I still believe they will qualify, but I still have to see the whole run through. Whoops. You know what I did? I pushed the wrong button. I meant to switch screens, and then I turned off my camera. Whoopsie. All right. Thank God I'm pretty. Otherwise, I'm not good with my brain here. All right. So here you go. We already saw the outfits. I feel as with Slovenia, I mean, I haven't seen the camera work yet or the voices, but it feels like they seem quite ready. I was saying, Javitas, you should be a mod now. Okay. No, this time Ursula did not hack into the live stream. It was me pushing the wrong button. So, yeah, there's not much to add here. This seems exactly what we would expect and that they should do. I think they just get that little, you know, retro 70s but glam look with still their own identity in there quite well. And yes, they have some red, but it's not overwhelming red. And coming right after Poland, this is not necessarily a bad option either. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the outfits. Suits the song, suits the band. And, oh, they're giving us hearts. Ain't that sweet? Okay. Oh, yeah. So, no, those look good as well. Slovenia looks like a bit meh in the pictures. You think so? I mean, the thing is, the pictures, I think they look nice. The pictures don't tell much of the camera work because it's basically just them, you know, doing their rock thing with their guitars. It's like a rock band you would expect somewhere at a concert. So it feels more concerty than, you know, like a contest, if that makes sense. But that's where the camera work comes into play. And I'm pretty sure it's going to look really, really good. So let me switch. Before I switch to Georgia, let me bring in a very famous and popular person with me. I don't think he's ready yet, so I'm going to hold on, actually. He's putting on his headphones, his headset. Oh, no, he's gone. He'll be back. I thought I'm going to get a guest here. All right. Georgia. Those pictures looked amazing the first time around, huh? Let me see if she will not disappoint us here. That picture surely does not. And I remember those LED walls, you know, how they split and kind of surround her a little bit. You can see that here. Here comes the Snow Queen meets the ghost. And her intensity, I also quite appreciate there. Oh, man, look at that. Visually, this is going to be a feast. Hot damn. She looks so good. I mean, I've always had it as a qualifier, but now any doubts that I might have had, laid to rest. She be through. Ooh, yummy, yummy. Yummy staging. So we'll see how that's going to pan out. Okay. Yeah, this all looks really nice. And what I love about Georgia is they just were a little bit more creative with the staging. Nobody else really thought about using the screens in such a manner. And it just shows that Georgia thought this through. Gabe, can you hear me? No, he cannot. I think he's having technical difficulties. If you can see me, wave or thumbs up me or something. Nope. Okay, he cannot hear me. So this is going to look amazing. Really, really amazing. I'm super excited. Oh, he's saying, hang on a second. Gabe has issues coming in. So I sent him a moderator, like he can be a co-host, but for some reason he's having issues getting in here. I'm just gonna send him the old-fashioned way. And he's just gonna be a normal participant. All right. Georgia is my winner, people. Georgia way better than Armenia. It's all about the music. Georgia looks great. And yeah. We'll see if the next link works. So Georgia, they're good to go. Let's move on to San Marino. By the way, Gabe, can you hear me? I'm not sure. I don't want to bring it. Can you hear me? No? He cannot hear me. It's on your end, Gabe, not mine. Because everybody in the chat can hear me. 2 minutes, he says. Okay. Anyways, here we are. San Marino. I like the staging, by the way. It's again orangey red. Caveat. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. It's not me. It's you. That's harsh, man. It's like a relationship advice. It's not me. That's the problem. It's you. I don't mean it like that. All right. So it looks nice. Again, I'm not claiming this is going to make a difference. This is a cool effect. I feel like I want to see the 30-second snippet of that moment where he jumps and then that poof, that effect comes in. That's going to look really, really cool. And we're not talking about qualification artsy right now. It's really just from an entertainment perspective and visuals. And that's what I'm talking about. I think it's going to look really, really good. Can you hear the words that come out of my mouth to your ears? Okay, so yes, you can hear me. Hang on a second. Hello, Gabe.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I've arrived in Liverpool, slightly rushed, set up in one of my friend's bedrooms here, which is what was delaying me. But I'm all ready to go now.
Okay, now I sent you the second link. You're not a co-host right now. The other one, I saw you in here actually, so it worked. So I'm not sure if you want to use the other link again. I sent you.
I did it. Okay, let me try. Let me do that, and I will be back in 5 seconds again. Oh, this is so exciting!
I know. Anyway, so this is how we professionals handle stuff here. Oh, and he's back already. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there you go. All righty. So, so you're in Liverpool, I'm hearing?
Yes, I am in Liverpool. I'm staying with my friends. One of my friends on just the outskirts. I arrived this morning. This morning at about 11:30. Some of you may have seen I was up very late last night as I had some political business to attend to, but I'm now here. It's really great to see you all. I'm really excited for tomorrow, where we're going to be going to a bunch of the artist meetups at the Lush Lounge in Liverpool. If any of you are going, it would be fantastic to see you there. And Ari, thank you very much for the much needed technical difficulties fund. If you guys could see the pure jank of my setup right now, I've balanced all of my stuff on a tiny little ledge, sort of wedged against the TV. There's a ring light sort of awkwardly put behind, and I've got my lemonade because I just finished my dinner.
Well, see, I could be in makeup for 3 hours and still look worse than you do in like that 5-second setup. So just feel good about that.
Oh, Matt, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't have any more money to give you. I already told you.
Oh, well, then I'll take that back. So we're just talking about the picture because apparently, probably we're expecting the clip to drop in about 33 minutes. Did they put already the clip on there with the countdown? Probably not, huh? Premiere.
Sure, let's have a look.
Nope. Yes.
They did.
Yep. So it will be and how we do it, because I cannot have the actual thing on my stream because that's considered a live stream, and then I get banned. So we can only listen to it while I'm doing this. So you have your headphones in for that, and then I'll add it in later. But I'm still going to live comment on them. So you can either do that as well, or you can come back after listening to them. It's up to you.
Perfect. I will. I'll watch along. What we can do is, Matt. Now, here's a fun trick to everyone out there. That I'll give you this advice for free. If you're watching a premiere of a YouTube video, go down to the settings and turn the speed up to 2 during the countdown. And what it'll do is it'll push you to the furthest forward point. So you're at the most up-to-date point, closest to the live picture.
Oh, really? That I didn't know either.
Yep. And so if we both do that, Matt, it means we will be in sync with each other as well.
Okay. Remind me again when we're ready to go in there. We have like 30 minutes left. All right. So everyone, I'll jump back and forth between the chat. Gabe will help as well. Can you double check you have all the moderator tools available to you?
Yes, I've got the show on stream button. I've got all kinds of different.
Perfect. So if you want to bring up a question, feel free to do so. But what I was doing is going over the San Marino pictures. Have you looked at any of the pictures so far? Oh, you were on the way, so you probably didn't see much either, huh?
I've not had a chance, so I'm going in completely blind.
Okay, yeah, we were running through like 5 of them, so feel free to go back. But oh, by the way, since I haven't talked to you, your thoughts on the UK staging?
I'm very optimistic indeed. I think they appear to be doing what they need to do. And can I just say, I want to take a moment to, gentlemen, a quick look back on the past. Some of you F1 fans may have got that reference. A few years ago, we had giant polystyrene trumpets and 0 points. And look where we are now. I think the staging is really good. I love the use of elevation is really clever. May looks stunning as expected. I'm really excited. At the same time, we've seen so little of it, and obviously no video yet. And I want to see it in action rather than these little snippets. I mean, we've already seen from starting from the photos and moving to the snippets with the rehearsal footage so far. There's so much that you gain from that. I think Finland being a good example of that, and it's been the same with a few others. So let's just hope there is a similar kind of whoosh, powerful moment that we get when we see the full picture for May too.
Sounds like you're cautiously optimistic, though, from what you've seen.
I'm allowing myself to be. In past years, I think I maybe wouldn't have been so optimistic, but I do trust the BBC a little more than I have previously. I think we've really turned a corner, and it feels like they have the right people directing the staging, the right people picking the song. So I've got to say, I'm really pleased. I'm really, really pleased.
Yeah, and I love her anyways, because I got to meet her in Barcelona. I got a one-on-one interview with her, and I did say, and she's funny. Like, she's actually funny. I remember saying like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Matt, that's my dad's name. I feel like we're bonding already. She's just very, very hilarious. So I want to
that's the nice thing is, and I think, and the BBC have got this right, is that they do very much. There's some things I think they could do differently in how they manage their acts. I think they should have come to her defense when she was being attacked in the press a few weeks ago, and I was disappointed that didn't happen. But what I can definitely say is that there's clearly a kind of let May be May attitude that the BBC has taken, which is really paying dividends. It's it's endearing her to fans. It's making her very personable, very likable, and I think that kind of freer approach is exactly the right thing to do. So and it's not always what the BBC do. The BBC have a tendency to really heavily police things. So I really commend them for taking this approach.
Wonderful. Now I'm too. So let's go back real quick to Austria. Or not go back. Continue with Austria here because we just finished San Marino. That's another big one that people are talking about. Lots of different opinions out there. Lots of words of encouragement. Some of concern. Where did you fall again, Gabe? Remind me.
On Austria, I was cautiously optimistic again, but I felt like we hadn't really been shown all that much. I like the color contrast a lot. Again, I mean, the thing is, red, white, and black, it's quite a safe set of color choices because everyone knows they work together well and they're really striking. But I think they use it beautifully well. And I remember
that's busy.
But I remember seeing a comment about that, and it's busy. The busyness is a creative choice. I think it's a commentary on the mass production of content, the mass production of media. and what effect that has on the, you know, the uniqueness and the artistic quality of that
True.
medium.
The question is, will it go above people's head? You know, will they make that get that sort of symbolism there? But we'll see. And I'm sure the camera work, they know what they're doing. So, you know, it's just when you see it like, whoa, that's a lot. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not, you know. So that's, yeah. So based on these pictures, that looks really cool too. Like, I think it's just a very striking visual feast. I'm really excited. I'm mostly interested in how they sound as well, because, you know, this music is, when I say difficult to sing, like in a live contest like that. So I'm curious how they pull it off.
Yeah, if they can execute it, it'll sound fantastic. But there's a lot of lyrical elements. The high part, the sort of O mio padre, is obviously very tough to pull off. The po, it's, you know, equally so, and you know, you can get breathy, you can get tired very easily, and I hope they're able to avoid that. I'm sure they will be able to.
Yeah, I think so too. The Austria knows what's at stake and then how the hype is, so I'd be shocked if it's going to be completely a disappointment. And some people will still not like it. There were people who didn't like, for instance, Norway's 2019 staging. They still came first in the televote. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't like Switzerland's Luca Hänni staging, was too red, and he came really high as well. So it's not everything. If the song's popular, they're going to do well. Okay, so Albania. So my concern was, and forgive me, Gabe, I'm not sure which one those streams you were on or which one not. Were you there for Albania when we?
Yes, I was there for Albania.
And my concern was, at least at that point, that it does not feel like a family. It feels like 6 people fighting for stage or airtime. And let's look at the pictures. How did you feel about it?
So that was exactly my concern. And looking at these pictures, it's still my concern because the outfits blend with each other. I look at these photos, and like this one actually here is a perfect example. I can't look at this and tell you who is the main performer out of these. I guess I'd hazard one of the two in the middle who are most well lit, but you simply can't tell, and I think that's an issue. We highlighted in our comparison to Lithuania and Monica standing out from her backing dancers by being dressed in, you know, striking orange. Yeah, I really wish they'd done something similar with Albina. They could have dressed her in, you know, in white or red, or really just given anything to really, you know, mark her out, because simply giving her a different type of black outfit isn't enough. You get lost in the stage, in the darkness of the stage, if you do that.
It could be that they're thinking, you know, the camera will do the work, that she'll be the main focus with the camera work. And then once the family comes in, they're all a unity. And therefore she no longer stands out because they're one group all together, right? So there could be some artistry behind that thinking. But it's still, for us, it's that I still also think that, how do we know that they're a family and not just random people, you know, that they just picked up? That is my concern, my biggest concern here. So maybe the camera work will change that, and the twirling of that, what is that, like a tissue, or are these feathers?
It's like a red handkerchief or some description by the looks of it.
Yeah. And it's not like I dislike the idea of the staging. I just am not sure of the unity, or like that. It just seems random to me. And I would love to hear what people feel about that as well. It's not just us. That's a pretty shot though. I mean, the artists singing to each other, but still, you know, I did like what this feel. I mean, they kind of do the on the video. I thought it was touching when, like, put the hand on the shoulder kind of thing, like, I care for you, you know, and that kind of stuff. So there should have been a little bit more of that warmth.
This one is a little better just because everyone is angled towards Albina. At least that, you know, singles her out as the main performer. But like I say, in these photos, like, that effect is totally lost. And we need a little more distinction. I wonder if they have an outfit, you know, they need to check the wardrobe. Maybe they've got something they can do with that. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean, my buddy. I'm lurking, but also playing World of Warcraft. Well, you're talking to a Final Fantasy 14 fan, so I pretend I didn't hear that.
Final Fantasy to 14.
What?
You said Final Fantasy.
Did I?
Yes.
Final Fantasy 14. Sorry. I can't talk already. Yeah, I mean, it again, lots of red. Let me see what people in the chat are saying. I noticed. Oh no, that's not for me. Albania's not working at all. The sound, the performance, costume, staging, nothing really works. NQ. Wee. Okay. So
That's
you're not
harsh.
Why can't Lorraine just use a normal LED screen they use on? Well, we'll get to Lorraine in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned during the tea with Timur that this is not Albina's outfit. She's going to wear it on the night. Well, here's the thing. I mean, until recently, I assume it's still the same. During the second individual rehearsals, you need to start wearing your actual outfit. You cannot wait until the actual night. So if she has another costume change starting Wednesday during the dress rehearsals, we need to have what she's using, because it's not just a matter of putting on a different outfit. It's a matter of lighting and a lot of other things that come into play. So they kind of just change their minds last minute. No. So whatever she wears now in the dress rehearsals for sure will be what we should expect on the night. So make sure you'll be here every dress rehearsal, because Gabe and I, and I'm sure there will be others, will guide you through the shows as much as possible.
I cannot wait.
I know, right? It feels like by now we had already so much information. Now we don't have anything. Oh, she changed her outfit, didn't she?
She did. It is a strapless dress today. I personally prefer the other one.
Me too.
But I still think the core effects. I beg your pardon. Sorry, I just absolutely down. This is a lemonade, by the way. I'm not like just drinking on the job. I absolutely down that lemonade. I think it still does the core job, which is, you know, very much to highlight her and center her in the performance. Even when, you know, you got the tutos and so on in the background and that it's vocally quite busy, it still makes sure that she's front and center. But I just think it looks slightly better with the straps and the shoulder pads that she had before. I thought those were good.
I'm digging the shoes though; they look fantastic. I will say that even though this rehearsal is intended, you're supposed to wear the costume, it's still trying, because they tried the last costume. They're like, you know what? Maybe you should try this one. And then they're now like, you know what? The first one was better. They can still do that in the dress rehearsals. So this doesn't mean this is necessarily her last or like final outfit. So we'll see. With Albina, I was like, she's wearing the outfit the same for both rehearsals. That's why I'm not sure that she's going to do that. All right. But yeah, in terms of staging, we agreed last time, you know, what they did.
That's an amazing shot. Sorry to interrupt. That shot is gorgeous. That's giving me Katarina from Goe vibes. Do you remember that shot at the end of if there's some kind of lighting trick like this in a performance, that will be so memorable to the audience. That's like an album cover. It
is. It looks like almost CGI. And here is Roy thinking this will not qualify. So yeah. So I think this looks good over. I think she got the vibe right and the staging for this one. Based on the pictures, we'll see the camera work, of course. So it's gonna suck, but based on this, you feel good?
Yeah, no, I feel very good. I mean, I've never had any doubts with Lithuania, but I think they've brought what they need to bring and more. And while someone in chat, I'm going to highlight it quickly. While Ari is saying that there's a 200 that it's fueling the 200 points delusion, which I don't think that's going to happen. That's maybe a little too much. What I will say is it's got enough about it to get through with the televote in the semis, and then it will, I think, really get some love from the juries, and deservedly so in the final.
Yeah, don't count out
Tamara to
yeah.
I'm not talking about Tamara Tedesco, but it's not. It's
This is not my final prediction, but I can see a world where Lithuania could be a surprise top 10 on the finale night. Absolutely. So let's move on to the very underwhelming and visually uninspiring Australia. Now, I know
that's how psyched he looks.
I know. He's just... And I know some people think it's too much, but I think go for it. Be creative. Be fun. Be daring. And sometimes it works and doesn't, but I'm glad what Australia's doing. And just based on the picture that I've seen, they know the visuals, the road trip, and whatever they're doing is going to look fantastic. How do you feel, Gabe?
So I think it's exactly because large static props can be a blessing and a curse. They can really work, they can really not work. And I mentioned James Newman before. That's a great example of a static prop not working. Sorry.
ESC, by the way, uninspiring. That was sarcasm. Somebody says, you're being not more respectful. That's sarcasm. Obviously, it's one of the most fun stagings we have this year. I want to clarify that. Sarcasm doesn't always translate well, I guess.
Just to be clear, ESC United loves Voyager, and Voyager loves ESC United, and long may it stay that way.
Yes.
So the static prop really works. It's got this super retro feel. What you can't see in this photo, but in some that you kind of some of the others, is the kind of the colors they're using. You know, the purples, the reds, the kind of slight neon kind of feel like this. How cool does that look? And it's just, it creates such a nice, you know, motif.
Yes.
That I can't get enough of it. So I love this. I was speaking to Sean earlier today, and he said that this could potentially win the semi-final. I think he might be onto something.
That's what I'm thinking. I have it as the winner of the semi. I'm actually more and more confident the more I see. This is also an amazing shot, by the way. Look at the backdrop. Ugh, gorgeous.
If we had Fuse and Nocta, we'd have another car on stage. Yes, but we'd have one less person in the contest who's able to sing. So we'd gain one and lose one, I think. And then the guitar and the pyro.
It's exactly what. Yeah.
So well, we are going to eat so well with this performance, and I'm really excited for it.
Yes, me too. So those are the ones that we only have like 15 minutes before the clip starts. So yeah, those are the pictures that we caught up. You know, there was no need for me to be on stream for 8 hours just to wait for these pictures to come up. So I'm excited. You must be excited, Gabe, just being there now in Liverpool. It feels like being part of the whole thing.
Oh, for sure. It's great to be here. Obviously, I'll be on the ground starting tomorrow, picking up my press accreditation in the morning. I think it's going to be a really exciting week. And as things start to open up and we're actually, given some access ourselves instead of having to, play, do tea leaves with the live blog for days on end, I think it's going to be a really amazing week. And the standard this year is so high. Those of you who've been to Eurovision before, I want to actually, because I think this is a nice thing. And I want to sort of speak to the experience of actually seeing it live, both for those of you who can relate to this because you've done it before, and for those of you who maybe haven't had the chance yet, just so you know what to expect. Now, I need to start the story by saying one of my favorite Eurovision entries of all time is In Too Deep by Tijana Bogacevic. And why is that? Well, in 2017, I went to my first Eurovision Song Contest and I walked into the arena to the family rehearsal of semi-final two. Thursday, it was the Thursday morning. And I remember just standing like laughing in disbelief. I couldn't believe I was finally there in the room.
Oh, really?
Then the first song comes on, and it's that one, In Too Deep by Tijana Bogacevic. Doesn't matter what you think of the first song in whatever show it is, the first show you ever go to at Eurovision Live is, you will remember how you felt when that song came on forever.
Who was the first in 2011? Oh, wasn't it da da dum da da dum da da da?
Yes, it was.
That was the first one I saw live, actually. So, yeah, those are special moments. I couldn't even think about it right now.
And obviously the thing is that what you hear before that is the postcard music. So I whenever I hear the postcard music from the 2017 contest, I get a bit emotional because I remember standing there in that moment thinking, "Oh my God, I have been dreaming of this my entire life." And there are so many more people in Liverpool this week who are going to have that feeling. And so many of you who are going to have that feeling either this year or next year or in future years. And every time I come back, the first day, I always remember that. And I always reflect on that. And it's the most wonderful thing. I just cannot wait to be in that arena. I think it's just going to be amazing. And it's just a few days away. I'll be in there on Monday night.
So let's answer a few more questions in the chat. But before we do so, because people are talking about the odds, we talk about it all the time. So since we are required, I guess, let's do it real quick because France has certainly gotten a lot of push there and are now in third with 8%. winning chance, which is up significantly after a well-received performance. Interestingly enough, they didn't take any points away from Finland, but from Sweden. Sweden is down to 39% versus Finland 24% winning chance. So still between those two, it's still the big chunk. But as you can see, just like most Eurovision, so this is not unique to Lorraine, to be fair, it's tightening up a little bit. Any thoughts, Gabe? I know you had your graph and all that stuff, but that's
the graph will come. The graph will come later. For those of you who are interested in the graph, you can expect it around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. UK time, probably tonight. Obviously, things are moving fast on that front now, but we'll come back to that later. As for the odds, you do tend to see a tightening, but the rehearsals are when people start to get an inkling of what's working, what isn't, what's working really, really well. I think what is reflected in those odds is not that Sweden is weak, because it's not. We all know that the package is really, really strong. What is reflected in that is that I think people are recognizing both the sort of people, individuals betting and, looking at the rehearsals, looking for signs of where to go, and the bookmakers themselves are recognizing that the French and Finnish packages seem to have come together really nicely and are looking really, really strong. Obviously, with France, there's a little more of that unknown because we're still at an earlier stage of it. That's why I think Finland hasn't really lost out from this. I think it's more It's not reflective of weakness on anyone's part, but more
the strength of others.
Yes, and I'm always skeptical when you see the kinds of odds we've been seeing in the last few weeks, which would have you believe it was a foregone conclusion before anyone has so much as stepped on stage for a rehearsal. So I'm not really surprised by this at all, but I am excited, and I think we will see a few more big shifts. After the first and second semi-finals, we're bound to see big shifts. After these rehearsal clips tonight, you never know. We might see somebody jump or someone fall.
Yeah. Australia has been steadily climbing, slowly but steady. They're now in 13th? Let me double check here. Yeah, 13th. So I think still only 1%, but here's the thing with Australia. I don't expect Australia to win. But I could see a world if I don't put money down, right? I don't know. But if I would more consider putting money down on Australia for top 5. I could see Australia pulling a top 5 in the grand final, but win is certainly a stretch. Therefore, may not be reflected in this particular ranking, but there is the top 5 ranking, and there could be higher probably.
Yeah, I think. There is a real chance, and I think we've seen in the past that metal songs, especially with the televote, really resonate. Now, actually, I think the advantage that Australia has is it's more jury friendly than, for example, Blind Channel, which great entry, really strong song. This, in my opinion, has more jury appeal, and for that reason, I think you could start to see that magic combination that gets them a much larger number of points. Personally, these guys, they're so enthusiastic. The song is great, and they're so enthusiastic. They're so invested in the contest. I can't, on a purely unprofessional, personal level, I would love to see them crack that top 5 or top 4.
I know, me too. Unfortunately, though, this is the last year that Australia will ever take part in Eurovision. They will never, ever return. This is their contract about. Bye. Now, people are so scared they're not funny. You know how funny, people are so upset when Australia joins. They know they're so scared they're going to lose them. So you don't have to worry about that. First of all, I'm just being silly here right now. My sarcasm's not translating well. So somebody asking, Matt, since 2011, you attended all Eurovision shows except the one in 2012, because I just moved that year from Florida to California, and I couldn't just take that much time off from work. So I missed Azerbaijan, Baku, but then, everything else I attended. And you've been 2017? Wait, not 18? No, which else?
2017, 2018, 2022, 2023.
So this is your fourth one, technically, Not technically, it is your fourth one.
Yeah, it is. And 19, I didn't have the money and I had my final uni exams. 2021, obviously, it was only the Dutch were present in the room.
And me.
And you, the Dutch and Matt, the Dutch and the honorary Dutch.
I think I was the only American there.
One Belgian, because Boris was there, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, Boris was. That's right.
So we had it was a room full of Dutch and one Deutsch, and one Belgian. To Gabe, what you think about the new way of voting where they're going to stand up on stage? I'm glad you asked. I hate it. I really, really hate it. I think it's cruel. It's unfair. It's unnecessarily messing with a part of the contest that works fine. You know, I'm a big proponent of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality with Eurovision. You don't need to make a change like this, you know, unless you actually need to. The current format has plenty of tension. You don't need to add any more, and it doesn't there's no value add like there was when they changed the voting system. I thought changing the voting system was a really good idea. You know, it gives much more of a voice to the televoters, stops juries from, you know, negating the public's preference. This doesn't improve the contest in any tangible way. All it does is put artists in a more difficult position, and also mean those who do fail, in fact, all of them are, apart from their delegations, who they will want to celebrate or commiserate with when they find out whether they're through or not. Instead, if you're stood on a stage and you're told that you haven't qualified, that's a really lonely place to be.
And
the
very
people
lonely.
who can support you are sat on the other side of the room, and there's nothing they can do about it.
And then they want to even stretch it out, I think, because from what I saw, is that even like after 5 people have been announced, they're going to do really useless comments and interviews. How does it make you feel? You know, like that you qualified. And then the other
how do you think?
How do you think? You know, so we'll find out Monday afternoon for the if that's how it's going to go down, because it's a full dress rehearsal, which includes fake qualifiers. So make sure you're back Monday afternoon and evening. We have 2 shows. And we'll guide you through that and give you updates, how they sound, what it looks like, and all of that stuff. But everything what Gabe said, I can just echo, of course. So we have 6 minutes to go before we get the actual videos, and I cannot wait.
I'm excited. What are you looking forward to the most? Give me some. I want names.
Names. Well, obviously Australia's high up there, not, you know, for obvious reasons. But I'm also very interested in Georgia. I really want to see Georgia. It looks so pretty on pictures, and I just want to see the entire feel of it. And I have a feeling it's going to look breathtakingly beautiful. So those come to mind the very first moment. Cyprus looks interesting. So I want to see how they do the fire and water thing and how effective that is. How about you?
I would like to add a couple more to this. So firstly, I want to talk about Lithuania. I think we'll see the effect of, you know, Monica being foregrounded in that way. Hopefully some of that framing we saw in the photographs, hopefully that will be in the clips that we're about to see in a few minutes' time. I'm also Georgia, you mentioned. I want to see Joker out in Slovenia, because the thing is with bands is that often it can be really difficult to translate the performance onto stage, and it can end up static or whatever else.
Yes.
Now, I think Joker out, because of their quality as performers, are in a very good place to circumvent this trend. And I'm excited to sort of get an insight onto how they're going to do this. And as for the people who asked me about my step count yesterday, I will show it to you in a little bit.
I'm not going to show you mine.
I'm looking for. Oh, mine. This might. I
didn't walk at all these last week.
Look at this.
Let me bring up mine. Oh no, I'm not going to show you that. I was like, oh gosh, that's not.
You've taken at least 20 steps to the toilet and back from your chair.
And the funny thing is, on Tuesday, I have 0 steps because I didn't even touch my phone. I just left it sitting here the entire time. So I was like, oh, I have 0 steps on Tuesday. I didn't walk much. I walked to pick up my Uber Eats ride food. You know, that's about it. Anyway, so we have 4 minutes left. Let me bring in one question here to announce them. NQ is what the artist signed up for. Degrading for all, especially solo performers. I cannot stand. Oh, it's not. Correct. And that, I mean, they sign up doing whatever we do, you got to do it kind of thing, right? It's like an all-encompassing kind of process. But if you know that this would stick around next year, I would think twice putting myself through that, especially if I have at least a little bit of a platform. Let's talk Hooverphonic. You know, that would be humiliating if they wouldn't have qualified. They did in the end, right? So that's fine. But let's just say, and it's just like, but even that, the rest, I hate any sort of these Voice and X Factor and idol shows, you name them all. I hate them with the burning passion of 13 Suns. And the fact that they bring these elements into Eurovision gets me very, very angry. Lots of blood boiling and ugh. Yeah, so it's pissing me off. I'm not going to lie. And but as long as we want to protect the health of the artists, that's what we want to do here anyway, the EBU says.
And this is the thing, is it's a total sort of, it's like, what I don't understand what we're meant to believe, because either you care about the welfare of the artists or you don't. Now, are you going to put them through a degrade if and if the argument is that the ultra high scrutiny on the first rehearsals, on the second rehearsals, on the week we've just had, is a degrading process that puts artists under unnecessary strain, then why would you turn the results into a degrading process that puts artists under unnecessary strain? It's literally, it's worse. It's way worse, because instead of a small, relatively speaking, compared to the viewership of the contest, a small community of people, engaging in very intense discussion for a week, instead, you have the entirety of Europe saying, hey, this guy failed. I don't see how that's fair. And I think this is a format that will last 1 year only, because I think the EBU will realize that too.
I find it funny because that's
disappointed if they don't.
I hate to say, but it's just drama porn. And I do actually agree with that, because it the intent is, that's why they do it. It stimulates the brain, right? And watching people happy or watching people in distress create something within a human mind that gets them really excited and riled up. And the producers, they know that kind of stuff. So that is why it's done. We get very happy for the people who are just joyful, jump around, we're through. And then we kind of see when they get all nervous and tense, we get tense as well, but it's an emotion that they want to go for. And as I said, they're becoming props, not artists. And that is what angers me.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. We are less than 60 seconds away, by the way, by the looks of it.
Is there anything Leslie Fandom can do to get the message to the EBU that we hate the idea? I haven't heard a single positive reaction to it. There's not much you can do except keep speaking up on social media, tag them. They will not respond. They never respond. They will not acknowledge anything. They will just quietly change it if it's really backfiring. But just keep posting it, tagging, whatever you think is appropriate. Be polite, be respectful. Don't call them names, because then, you lose everybody. But, just say, I don't like this. And this is why, A, B, C. Anyway, so it says the premiere will begin shortly, but they still have that 2-minute countdown anyways, right? So we still have a couple of minutes.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, mine's not yet there yet, so I better go for fast, the ×2.
Set your playback speed to ×2, and it will push you right up to in line with live, and then it'll reset you to 1 speed again. So I'm at 136, 135, 134.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
So you're at 1 minute 30.
I got another commercial. Okay. So I'll get there eventually. I'm at 134. You at what?
I'm at 111. So
right.
Double speed.
Yeah,
double speed, Matt. Double speed. Come on.
3, 2, 1, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Am I caught up?
Not yet, but it'll
I'm rushing
when you get there in time.
58.
Run, Matt, run.
Where are you now?
49, 48.
I'm passing you. I'm at 45.
Oh, damn.
44, 43, 42.
Okay, we're even. Okay. Everyone take a deep breath.
This was intense.
I know it's intense, but now we're in sync.
But I go back to normal now, right? I don't want it to. Yeah. Keep in mind, people in the chat, you're about 5 to 10 seconds behind us when you post something, because even I'm live streaming live, there's probably like a 5-second delay from when you hear me talk until you see it on YouTube because of the software.
Yeah. All right, everyone, go watch the video along with us. We'll have some live thoughts during, so keep us on if you want to hear us, and make sure you're here at the end when we will have many thoughts. I'm sure. I will have at least 3 thoughts. I promise you that.
On the first one alone, yes. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And click. We start.
Here we go.
And we're gonna have properly somebody talking. Yeah. Clara, talk faster. Gang, gang. Okay.
Okay, get on with it. We want to see
And-
him. All right,
oh!
here we go. I love the waterfall.
I gotta turn off the sound here. Great mix with the backup vocals and his voice.
Oh, the falsetto it's on point.
Yes, and this looks pretty with the waterfall. We don't get the fire on this clip, apparently. Oh, but he has a little bit. He stopped early there, but that's fine. It's a good rehearsal.
Right, Iceland.
Oh, they're doing what I was worried about, at least in this shot. Okay, it looks good, but
Her
The first shot
vocal is
was-
better than Song Verkapnin. I can say that. Her vocal has improved.
okay.
She sounds absolutely note perfect.
Yeah. I don't like some of these shots because even that the long one, that lots of far out shots, and they should be more tight. Greece. Oh, is it me? Is the sound off a little? Or he's just strained this voice.
Yeah, it sounds.
I'm surprised I used that clip. That doesn't sound great to in my book. No, I'm. Oh, they have a cool effect there. Okay. Okay, they have like the really cool effects already on screen there. It's gonna look good.
This is about what I expected from Poland.
Oh, that looks cool. The LED floor thing. That looks really good. But yeah, I'm just like unexpected. Oh, I loved how they ripped off your clothes and then the whole screen went orange. That was really cool as well. And then the dance. Oh, that was a smart clip they used. The transition.
It was. And we've got Joker out. Are they out on the top of the out in the audience?
I can't tell. No, wait. Is that it? No, yeah, it is.
Yeah, they are right out, all of them.
That's a big little island there. I didn't realize how big it is. Because you have barely 3 people on there.
Oh,
okay, can I still like get obsessed over lipstick?
Vocal. Oh.
Just amazing. I don't even want to talk right now. She looks amazing. She has a quiet confidence about her that I'm just really enjoying.
And I love the big walls of like smoke and light that they've done with the LED screens.
Oh, I think they tried to show us that jump, but I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, turning the boards at the back were turning in the middle of the performance.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, several of those do that, but
I just think it's a really cool effect.
It's a cool effect, but the colors, everything is not like necessarily that eye-catching here. Like it's a fairly, lots of red, white lights for a rock song. It is appropriate. I just don't know if it caught my attention.
This is Austria now. 0, 3,
0.
Oh, that line was a little off on the vocal, but
yes,
that sounds like a one-off error though.
It feels a little less. I mean, they cannot dance too much because they have to focus on singing. It was not maybe the best shot to choose for Austria, but it's I know.
I don't like these far shots for Albania. They're too far.
No, they're all standing in one line. Yeah, I mean, I sung just on repeat here. Nothing changes my opinion here. I miss the family vibe in this performance. Here comes Lithuania.
Vocals right on point. Sounds right to me.
Confidence there. It's very a relaxing performance, kind of like, it's just, but it's just, it feels right.
Gorgeous vocal, just good.
Yeah, it looks good too. Here comes Australia. I wish I would give a shot in the car, not after the fact.
Oh, are they going to give us the drop? They need to fix that camera shot where it goes long, but it sounds great. The sound is dead on. Just these camera shots need to.
There are lots of. I will agree. Lots of confusing camera shots on this one. But it's got. And the other problem was because there's no audience there. If you would have seen the audience in there, that would have been like a moment. Right now it's empty, so it feels like I need more.
Exactly. So I think that's the first comment I was going to make. My first thought was across a lot of those performances. Now, obviously, I generally am not a big fan of wide shots, but the wide shots are so bad that they're really, really bad, and they just need to stop doing so many wide shots.
Yeah.
Like, it's just loads of these performances rely so much on a personal connection, and we are and then you're building this with this artist, and then suddenly bam, you're at the back of the arena.
Yeah, I think the best things there are two reasons why you want to do back shots. Number one, you want to capture the audience, right? You want to see the reaction, they're jumping or whatever, and be like getting that feel in that moment. Perfect sense. Or number two, there is the reason why you really want to see the whole LED screen. There's something on there that makes it look visually really stunning. So there are moments where it's appropriate, but just random ones seems a little weird. So I agree with you. Far out shots should be the exception.
Yeah.
And we still have a few here.
Yeah, and I don't think you even need that. Like, there are some performances that don't need them at all. In fact, one thing that I will say in general is massively underexploited in Eurovision. I would love to see a performance. I would love to see a performance where they really make the stage small using a single camera shot, some sort of stage, a bit like staging, which is a bit like a set of like a movie set or something. So you really, really box it into the tiny little personal thing, and then you keep everything inside there. No wide shots, no long shots, super personal. I want to see more of that. That's something that I think could be a real point winner in years to come that we haven't really seen exploited here.
Yeah, let's think about it for a second. Look at the list. Let's pick each three, not in order, three things performed that really stood out to you. Like, you're like, okay, that's a nice one. I'll give you my first one. I would say Cyprus. I thought Cyprus sounded good. It looked beautiful. I want to see more of the fire part as well, of course. But just based on that, he sounded good. And I was one of the more impressive visual and vocal moments I've seen here right now. So I was very impressed. Give me one.
So I'm going to go with Georgia. And I feel like we were both thinking of Cyprus and Georgia.
Probably, yes.
I thought the vocals were flawless. I think the sort of the sort of forward set pillars of smoke and lights that they've done with the LED screens are a really powerful effect. But also, I was just talking about making the stage smaller. With a single performer, you can keep them in pretty much the same place and not have them move around too much if you make the stage smaller. And that's exactly what they've done. I think it's really smart. That combined with the smoke, and suddenly you have this glorious ethereal effect of Iro almost amongst the clouds, sort of singing out this kind of siren song. Want to know a secret? Bang. I thought it was so powerful, and the vocal just sends it to another level. I think there's top 10 potential in this. I think it could be Georgia's best ever result. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. It's a tough group of songs there, but we'll see. Now, another one that I mean, this would be my two as well. I already mentioned Cyprus and Georgia. I will probably add, maybe it's surprising to some, Lithuania in there, because it seems just right. And yes, it is close to what we see in the national final, just kind of adjusted for Eurovision. But I think they just did it right. The feel, the vocals, the colors, and you don't want to reinvent the wheel if you already have it in the first place, So I do think that they captured and captivated things that they needed to captivate, as we both agreed. How she stands out, Monica, with her orange dress from the backup dancers. It doesn't mean the backup dancers completely disappeared, but we know she is the highlight. She is the star of this, and she sounded good with the orange in the back. It's in the low. It's just beautiful. It just was just really well executed. And I was really impressed by that. Who do you pick?
Well, the thing is I think we've read each other's minds perfectly, because that was the other one I was going to mention.
Yeah.
What I will say, I'm going to use my time to mention the fact that musically, Australia is dead on. Vocals sound great. The breakdown sounds really, really good. But I will say, I think some of the camera shots aren't there yet.
No.
I think I would love to see a closer shot when the breakdown starts. I want to see Danny really throw his hair into it. I want to see, I want to see that moment where they all jump and sort of slam down. I think that'll be so powerful. I hope we see something like that in the next rehearsal. There's still time to do that, and then they'll all be sort of poring over this footage in the rehearsal room. But so that really excited me, and fingers crossed it will keep, getting better each time we see it.
Let's answer a few questions as always at ESC United. Let me know what your thoughts are on specific performances or questions, and we'll put them on there. Let's start with Holly Walker. Greece vocals were off. Poland is using filters again. Laugh, laugh. And Australia cameras needs to improvement. We already talked about the last part, so, agreed. I also agree with the first one. Greece did not sound right. He seemed, I don't know. We don't know which run through this was. Could have been the third one, and he was just really tired at that point, and his voice sounded a little strained and just less confident. But again, this is a rehearsal, so I would not read too much into it just yet. In terms of the rest, we didn't see all the interesting parts of the staging with what we were talking about, so I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So I want to say on the Greece comment, I think I agree, but I actually think it's not an issue so much. I wonder whether it's not so much an issue of technique and of what he's doing in the moment, but rather the way they're trying to the vocal flexes. I'm just going to put the super chat up on screen while I'm making this point, by the way, and thank you very much for that. Thank you, Kenny, and I'll read that in a moment. But first, as I was saying, I think the sort of vocal flares he's doing in that section, it doesn't fit for me. I think the way it was in the studio was just right. You don't need all these extra vocal bits for this song. It has enough of a natural climax in itself. And I think straying away from that just distracts from it. So if I was them, I would go back to basics on that. We'll see what they do. Kenny, thanks so much for the super chat. That's the 5. And it says, and he said, I once tweeted that if Poland does what Calamera did in 2008 with a dance break, she'd make it. I think it's better. All camera angles, it looks good. Matt, I disagree. What do you think?
So you don't think you didn't like it?
Well, I think there is still ultimately the factor that the source material they're working with here is not very strong. Mm-hmm. And the dance break doesn't make sense in the context of the song. It's sort of thrown in there to sort of make it a moment. And
yeah. I have to, because we just saw a tiny little glimpse from what we saw. But what I will say is I am pleasantly surprised that the transition is not as awkward and jarring as I thought it would be from the song to the dance break. How they ripped off her skirt or the jacket, whatever she was wearing at that skirt, and then they see this the screen, the LED floor kind of turning a different color and transitions into that dance break into different colors rather than just being very dramatic change. Well, it's very clever. So that stood out to me because that was my biggest concern, because we have that summer vibe with the beautiful beach, palm trees, water in the back, and then this red motor kind of feel. I think it didn't look as jarring as I thought it would be. That being said, I do agree that it still comes down to whether or not the people will like the song. And I don't know what you can do to win people over. I had Poland as a qualifier in the first place, though, so this is certainly only making me a little bit more confident in my potential prediction. Again, we have still our rights to change it because we will all vote officially after the first run through on Monday, or this one is Wednesday. But you know what I mean. We got another.
We get to do press poll, don't we?
We don't have to. I haven't done it in 5 years, probably.
Well, this is my first time where I get to do the press poll, so you
better vote.
The press poll. Yeah.
Yeah. So also sending love for Albania. They had a special place in my heart since they were selected. I really hope they make it. Good luck to them. We stand by what we said though earlier, right? About in terms of staging for Albania, I do think they missed the opportunity to bring that unity, that warmth of a family, because right now they just look like 5 backup singers. That's the best case scenario, because even if they manage with the camera work to make Albina the star, then it would be Albina and backup singers, not Albina and her family.
I think they've not quite solved the staging doesn't quite tell the story that I would like it to. I think you've got a lot to work with in terms of vocals. You've got a song that you could definitely put something really nice together for. It's just, you know, it's just, and I mean this with obviously the greatest of respect. It's not quite telling the story for me. I could be proved wrong. You know, it's up to the people of Europe, or at least half of it, to decide that. What I will say is one other thing I wanted to mention now, because there's a few people who've mentioned it in chat about and I know we did touch on it before when we were saying that Cyprus was one of our favorites. I think, despite the fact it does use a lot of backing track, it's true. I think he really his voice is so good. He was totally in the zone. He didn't feel. What really impressed me is this is a rehearsal, so he probably wasn't giving 100%. Those notes didn't feel strained at all. It felt comfortably within his range, even on some of the really hard, high falsetto notes. So for me, I think a lot of reasons to be optimistic, and it's a sure qualifier for me.
You want to be very, very careful with your voice. I cannot stress it enough. We've seen it in the past, and I feel so bad. You remember Jessica Mauboy, 2018? She was giving it her all for all of the rehearsals. I was like, oh my God, that's going to go big. And then she fell apart. She was even like shouting like everyone, come on, everyone, because her voice was just no longer there. And I wish she would have saved all those vocals and not, but she was probably just so excited and just wanted to give it her all. And I just give her kudos, but it's just very important to remember that. Similar thing actually happened to Sergei Lazarev in 2019. Because there was this really one high note that he usually sings, like in the studio version, and he hit that the first 2 or 3 rehearsal run-throughs, and then he couldn't. And then it never came back even during the actual live shows. So that's why it is so important. Save your voice. Don't read it too much into it. And if he holds back right now, Andrew, let him hold back, because you don't want that to go like later on, because those are not easy notes to sing. And
and I think we should also say that for those of you who are worried about backing tracks being too loud, we should consider that a lot of the artists are not going to be, quite, they're not going to be belting them out at full volume. So a lot of that you might see will be resolved in the live performance.
Some people didn't even sing at all early on in 2011. Certain people didn't even bother singing. They just skipped a high note or were completely quiet. They wouldn't use that for the clip here. Of course, it would be kind of weird. But this is, I wasn't there, but I know Carola in 2006. She had all the high notes. She was just standing there, just doing her moves. That was also important. So she's a pro, and she knows that I need to save my voice. So don't worry about it. We could talk about this for hours, but just keep that in mind. We're probably going to bring that up again because people will ask that. I only got tickets for the afternoon rehearsals. Are they usually quite good, or do the artists save themselves for the live show? You've been to some of the afternoon ones. Tell me about it.
In the arena, you're not going to notice. Don't worry about it. You've got to remember that even when the artists are not at 100%, they're still giving, they can pretty safely give 90, 95 in a rehearsal. So you're getting pretty close to the real thing, especially then. That's the last rehearsal before the show. Obviously, people are cautious about their voices, and that's natural. But we've got to remember, these are professionals. They understand their limits, and for the most part, they understand how to pace themselves so that they are able to deliver in the live shows. No artist, doesn't matter that it's not being voted on or that it's not on TV. You've got an audience full of people. As an artist, as a musician, you want to deliver in that circumstance. So you don't need to worry. You're going to have a great time. All of the acts will sound brilliant. And I just really hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, some people, they will wear the outfits, but some people may not be stage ready completely. Like a lot of the women don't have all their makeup done yet, So, but again, when you're in the audience, you don't see it that much, If you look at the camera, you can tell this is not all done yet. So those are the things you also need to take into consideration. Let me go. Do you think Blanca is going to use a Chanel moment when she hits the stage with AI? Oh, okay.
I can't see that song having a dance break. Don't know about you.
No. The only thing, they have a moment, what we saw in that clip from yesterday. Did you watch the Blanca clip from yesterday?
I actually haven't seen it because I've been out on.
Yeah, I figured you've been a little busy. That'll be me in a few hours, so don't worry. So there's one moment that she has that she walks up to the front of the stage. She puts her hand out, and there's like this, I call it the well of light, right? But it's spotlight or whatever. So it's like she's holding the light or something. So it's like a cute's not the right word, a cool moment. I think that'll be on camera. So, but yeah, it's not going to be Chanel because those are two very opposite kind of songs, very different message there and very different emotion.
I just think, you know, it's again, camera angles are really important with Blanca Paloma. But remember, all acts, you know, send a lot of the information about this kind of stuff to the producers in advance, because they all get shown, and they all get shown stand-in rehearsal before any of them even arrive, with, you know, stand-in performers who actually sing and dances in all the right places and as many of the props as they can. So they have a good idea of a lot of these things in advance. You know, where there are problems, there's time to fix them on site. But most of the stuff, most of that troubleshooting is done before any of us even get a look in.
Yes, I agree with that. Are you guys going to do the press center during the full run-through rehearsals, or are you not allowed in at all this year? We are. So that's a longer answer. We are all going to be in the press center. We have 6 people in there. Gabe and myself here. Then Melanie, Roy, Sean, and who am I missing? Connor. Thank you. Connor just messaged me, actually. That's why I was looking at it. I thought I said his name already. So the 6 of us all will be in the press center. Now, there is a change in rules, and that we cannot really live stream from the press center. So we'll have people in the arena during the first dress rehearsal, and then in the evening show, most of the shows, Gabe and I, not all the shows, but for the afternoon show at least, we will be guiding you through the first shows from our hotel room, probably my hotel room because it's the closest. And it's apparently pretty big, so at least what they say. So I don't know. So that's probably what we're going to do. So we'll still have live streams, but not from the press center. But we'll be in the press center plenty, because once we're done with the live stream, probably Roy, you're Gabe. Gabe and I probably will do what you did the last time, just rush to the press center so we can record individual reviews of each performance and that kind of stuff. So don't worry. But yeah, it's going to be a little different this year. It was unfortunate, but it's not our decision. It's the EBU's.
And I will also say, I'm going to be, for the evening shows, the jury shows, I'm going to be in the arena. I'm hoping to do the same thing I did last year. Those of you who were with us last year will remember, after the fight, I don't even stay to the end of the show.
Yeah.
The last song finishes. The second the last song finishes, I will be dashing out the arena at maximum speed to get back, probably not to the press center because I won't be able to stream from in there, probably back to you, Matt, at yours, or back to ESC United headquarters to jump on stream and tell you all about it. And I am excited to do that too. Although I'm curious as to how that's going to go when I'm in the standing section.
Yeah, but the jury, so you don't even have to rush that much because the results aren't real. You know, so
yes,
it's not going to be
I want to give everyone, you know, the fastest possible reaction.
Gotcha.
The faster I get there, the faster the people get what they want.
Get what they want. That is true. You know, guess how many times I have seen the actual full results in the arena?
0.
Actually, once in 2011. It's the last time, because I hardly ever get tickets, and when I did, I stayed until the songs were done, and then I went back to the press center. It's just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the thing. The jury shows, a lot of people do leave when the songs finish. I should also say, I did have and all of you who tried to get tickets this year for the live shows will hate me for this. My first time I tried to get tickets was 2017. I got a grand final live show ticket in the general sale, some of the best seats in the house, €108. Weren't those the days? Weren't those the days?
Oh man, yeah. Now it's those days are long gone. So we don't have any fake results this year. So you'll have fake results this year. We always have those. I don't know if you should stick around. They take forever. So do people really care about the fake results? We always are like, yeah, we're so excited, but are we? But people seem to have it became our thing, this being all excited about the fake results.
We love the fake results. They tell us nothing, and that's very important.
Actually, to be fair, they may not tell us anything, but this year they will tell us something. and that is to get a better idea about this new,
Formats.
I saw this that GIF that went viral. It's like, Portugal, you did not qualify, and the ground opens up and they all fall down.
Yeah.
I want that now. If you want to do this, go all the way in. Lorraine, surprised you actually did not make it. Wow, it's just
Fall
like
into a bottomless pit.
Yeah. Well, that's like
fired out of it,
right into the water.
cannon.
They have to sit, like at a carnival, like at a fair, they have to sit on platforms, and if they actually don't qualify, they fall into a bucket of water.
Yes,
So-
or the gunge comes down from the head.
Yes.
Gosh,
Gosh,
we
we
got
got.
Katy Perry at the Teen Choice Awards.
I hope the BBC's not watching because they may get ideas. So, but in all seriousness, we will be definitely we're going to cover everything. It's just slightly different this time around, and we'll be a little kind of played by ear as well. So please be patient with us and everybody else in the community as well, because we're all kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, the most important thing is we're all there together. We want all of you to feel like you're right there in that room with us, and we were able to replicate that feeling last year when most of us were sat up in the apartment, and we'll do it again this year. No matter what obstacles get pushed in our way, it'll be.
Last year was miserable.
This
Just by myself in there.
You've got all 6 of us. I'll defend you.
It was so hard being there all by yourself and just like, I don't have any friends. I mean, there are plenty of people I knew and hang out, but when it comes to work, you have to kind of like focus, right? And then everyone was doing their own thing at that point, and I was just there like, I'm not popular. Okay, let me just
popular. I am not popular.
So that was very, very difficult. Gabe, which shows are you going to? Somebody's asking.
Juries, all 3 jury shows standing. If you're going to, please feel free to come say hi. I'm going to be getting there a few hours before because I want to stand near the front. But also, another request at the end of the jury show, if you see me trying to escape, please do make way so I can get out quickly. And I will love you very, very much for that indeed. I'm also going to be in the Euro Club a bunch this week with everyone. I'm so excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready for that. That's another great. Why not offer losers the choice of rope, bullet, or blade and go pure burger bar at a car cash? It's an obscene concept. I know. We'll all make a cartoon out of it because there's so many ideas because we all just hate it. But yeah. It's just, do Brits sounds very demeaning. Do British people still very much into these shows like X Factor and The Voice?
So this is a pretty standard kind of format, but actually a lot has changed over the years. So Britain's Got Talent is still going, but the X Factor is gone, and a lot of these shows have taken on very different forms. There's no British version of American Idol, really. And the viewership isn't what it used to be. These things used to be cultural phenomenon. Phenomena in and of themselves. X Factor winners used to go on. I'm thinking of people like who ended up with great solo careers: Little Mix, One Direction, and to a lesser extent, people like Alexandra Burke,
JLS,
JLS, Leona Lewis. All these people who came through X Factor. It used to be a real powerhouse, but it doesn't have that same pulling power anymore.
Same in the US with the American Idol. I think they still have it on, but
Rylan, exactly. Rylan started off in the X Factor.
I didn't know
he's a really good point. But Liam's also completely right when he says that viewership's really declined for these shows. They're not as popular as they used to be. I think, and the way we consume this content has changed a lot over time. I personally used to love these shows, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't watch them now. It's just not my thing. But you think about Sarah Alto was on the X Factor, and she was beaten by a guy called Matt, actually.
Well, you have to. I was on his side.
And I don't remember his last name because he's not done anything since.
No. His name is Matt.
Yes, exactly. But, so Matt, you're still the most notable Matt in the world.
Woohoo! All right. Screw Matt Damon. Who dat?
Yeah. Matt who?
Yeah, Matt who? No, I was to wrap this up, we'll talk about the talent shows. I remember very, very early, that was the year after when I came to America in 2000 or 2 years later. I watched American Idol season 3, and I was like, okay, they have really good talents on there, right? Because they had Fantasia was her name and Jennifer Hudson, and then she was voted in 7th place. And I was like, this is not talent. The best singers were on the bottom because they were all black and they had like a similar style. And then the really bad singers who could barely hold a note made it because, oh, he's from Mississippi. Oh, she's from Hawaii. And I'm like, this is not a talent show. This is a popularity contest. And so that's when I never watch this again. And I never turned back. Anyways, do you think the delegations listen to your constructive feedback? Great job, chaps. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. And I think the answer is I don't know, but I do know that a lot of them in the past, at least when we had more access, listened in. And some of them took certain things too hard because we were approached in the past. I'm not just talking about Greece, the incident. There were other incidents where people actually go in there. And if it's not even the delegations, I know like betting odd makers come in and get ideas from us. There are a lot of people that are actually more involved that do listen to some input. You've noted as well, Gabe?
So obviously I have less insight on this than you do, but I think this also reflects on the importance of framing comments which aren't necessarily as positive in the right way. And I think we do always have to consider that artists are obviously self-conscious about their work, and we have to consider the fact that delegations are sensitive about their work. You know, we're talking, you know, because someone in that delegation has done the camera work, someone in the delegation has done the outfits, someone in the delegation has done the, you know, the choreography and so on. So I think when reflecting on these people, on the work of these people, we have to treat them with the professional respect they deserve, while also simultaneously, you know, being honest about what we think. And that is a balance to strike.
Hard too.
I think it shows in the fact that, you know, the relationships that get built with the delegations is able to persist because you're criticizing the right way. If we came out here and badmouthed everyone, then, for example, the brilliant interviews that Connor is doing, those wouldn't be happening.
I know, right?
If I came out here and was like, oh, so and so's useless, so and so sounds like a, you know, tin can with a key in it when they sing, you know, like.
And it's very difficult to be critical because we also need to remember these people came into this working on this for months and they love their baby. That's their baby, and we come in. Well, that's a little off. I wouldn't have done that. That wasn't a good idea. And I understand that people are a little defensive because they put so much thought and they thought it worked. So when you get some negative or feedback, it puts you back and you get defensive. So I think it's human nature, and I completely get that part. So that's why, as you said, it's very difficult to find that balance without being still being respectful towards the art and the craft that they're putting forward, and still say, you know what, maybe they should have thought this. And people are asking in the chat, those haven't been around. What is the Greek incident? Some of you know, some of you, but there's just one. There were plenty of other incidents. That's just the most recent one that also happened directly on camera. Usually happens off camera. But we were approached by someone from the Greek delegation and saying, oh, you hate the Greek staging. That was in 2021, actually. And because we had some input into the staging for Stefania and the green screen, how it doesn't look complete and right. And that actually, Sean said something to the effect of, I personally prefer the parts where she's not on green screen. She looks amazing, and, you know, but the green screen is so distracting. And then Greek people went to the delegation. ES United hates Greece. And then it just snowballed from there. So then I had to walk off camera and talk to them, explain. They're like, oh, we haven't seen it. I'm like, then why are you coming for me? So it was really awkward. We cleared up that he put me out like I didn't mean to come across as harsh, you know. I just was more playful, and I probably didn't. I'm like, no, that's fine. I totally get it. I just want to make sure that you don't think like we love the Greek song. We thought she looks amazing. She sounded even better. It was just a matter of, you know, the facts aren't there where they need to be. All right.
Please buy Connor a coffee. His interviews are great. Consider it done. I will buy him one when I see him. And I'll get.
No, I will. That's on me. I will buy him even like maybe a fancy Starbucks coffee, maybe like something a little bit more like caramel, something.
Or the salted caramel frappuccino.
You know, yeah, something like that. We had like a really delicious pistachio ice. Well, I'm not gonna. Everything I'm gonna drink in Liverpool will be warm because it's gonna rain all week. So yeah, I'm no cold drinks there.
Well, actually, today the weather has been really quiet. It's been up and down, but it's been a really sunny day today. We then had a rainstorm in the evening, but it brought out the most stunning rainbow I've ever seen. Really, really clear, gorgeous rainbow. And it actually, it really put a nice spin on that. I don't know if you can see that. You had this gorgeous rainbow all the way across the sky.
No, I can that's huge. Yeah, that's a big one.
So it was,
Wow.
it was really amazing.
Because sometimes they don't go all the way, but this one went like, woo.
Yes. So Eurovision is officially blessed, I guess.
Yes.
And you could see the faintest bit of double rainbow, but not quite enough to go full double rainbow.
Yes.
I was going to say 4 quarters. Oh yeah, the other thing that's worth saying is that, especially when it comes to fan media and delegations in general, like delegations and fan media and some fan media, I'm sure it's not true for everyone, tend to have pretty good relationships. Or at least, certain outlets will have good relationships with certain delegations. Obviously, when it comes to national media, so for example, an Irish-focused media outlet would have a good relationship. Will generally have a good relationship with the Irish delegation, and so on. One that comes to mind with ESC United is the Sammarinese delegation, and I remember that there was some really great interviews.
Yes.
I remember Valentina back 2012, 2013, 2014, that era. And in fact, one thing I will say, guys, and this is one of my favorite ever ESC United interviews. It was with Olivia, who you may have since heard commentating at Melody Festivalen, so ESC United.
Started out with us, just for the record.
Yeah, exactly. Did an interview with Valentina Moneta in 2014, where she read out a letter that a member of our forum, Kai, had written for Valentina, and it may be that this story has evolved somewhat from when it happened to when I heard it, but from the way I've been told, and I'm sure Matt, you can tell it better than I can, is that basically after the cameras went off, everyone basically burst into tears.
Yes.
So you build up these really strong working relationships with these people on the basis of the fact that they're creating something, they're so invested in it, and we become invested in it, and sort of celebrate it and spend so much time discussing it over so many months, and that creates quite an opportunity for a really quite special bond. And I think that's one of the most important duties of fan media, because you can then use that to produce things that a bland live blog on the official Eurovision site could never hope to produce.
Yeah.
And so I think it's especially important now that we have those relationships.
It is very interesting.
Really glad that so many outlets do.
It's one of the reasons why I'm glad that Connor's doing interviews now, and I'm not around because I don't really see the artists as much as I used to. Almost deliberate, because it has gotten so hard. Because there's songs that you like, you dislike, but you grow fond of all of them, and no matter who, you're devastated when you see them not qualifying. I remember Israel 2013. I forgot her name. She was just bawling when she didn't make it. She was breaking down. Yeah, it was just, and I was in the green room when that happened, and I was like, I can't. And she was so sweet in person, right? And you're just like, and I understand it's just how it goes. We all understand that we're in a competition, and they know there is a chance you may not make it. Nevertheless, it's still heartbreaking and tough. And you just like, oh no.
And in some ways, this is the double-edged sword of fan media at Eurovision. We have a proximity to the contest that we are so lucky to have, so privileged to have, that not many people have the opportunity to have. And that's amazing. That proximity does also bring suffering, because you do see people who you're really rooting for and you personally grow very fond of, especially if you're doing the interviews, like you say, like poor Connor, he's going to be absolutely destroyed.
It's going to be a mess. I'm saying, he's going to be a disaster. I want him to enjoy it as much as possible, but it'll be rough, because even like they're going to hang out afterwards for a moment. They take pictures, they talk. Could you imagine? It's not going to be happening. But in the craziest world, Australia will not qualify. Could you imagine? Like, it would be devastating, because we've really grown fond of them and friendly, and it would be just devastating. So it does suck. But at least they get to be on stage by themselves when they don't qualify. So so it's all good. I had to put that in there. Anyways, yes, not. But even on the other side of the planet and being outside of the press bubble, I almost get attached to even the songs I'll skip every time starting on May 14th. It's just kind of, especially in Germany, of that term Schönhören. Oh, you know it probably, right? Do you know Schönhören?
Yes, I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, basically means that you heard it pretty, like, because you listen to it all the time, even song you weren't that much into it, you've gotten so used to it that you really like it now, kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And that happens to a lot of Eurovision songs. So, I can see even outside the press bubble, whatever you call it, that people get super attached. So I don't want to dismiss people who are also upset just watching it, because people watch all the time. They watch interviews, they watch all them behind the scenes stuff, they follow them on social media, the artists, and you also get attached to them, you know. So it's probably not that far off from what we are going through. So I get it.
And somebody asked about the graph. I'm going to do this on Twitter later. I don't have time to do it on the stream today. Connor seems to be so emphatic. Do you mean? I think
Empathetic?
he might mean empathetic. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He was greatly invested during press from home. This year will be tough. It's cut off for him, but I love his interviews. You know, Connor, I think, is brilliant at it, and it also, you know, I've seen some of the sort of process, the thought process that Connor goes, you know, sort of works through when he's writing these interviews. You know, and I think it comes through when you hear the questions that are asked. Is he's really genuinely interested in the artists as people, not just as acts in Eurovision, as people, and like how their lives have affected their music and what their music means to them. And for me personally, when I watch those interviews, and I hope for all of you, I think that really adds something. It makes it a lot more personal, a lot more real is the wrong word, but
no.
Like,
you make it more. Yeah, no, I get it. Because when I do interviews, I mean, you have to throw in a couple of Eurovision-related questions, right? Because it is Eurovision. But one thing and they said when I was in Barcelona, thank you so much for asking that, because I always want to ask, what's next for you post-Eurovision? We don't want you to fall off the cliff once, you know, the results come in. Where can they find you? What music is coming out? How can your fans follow you? That kind of stuff. And they just really appreciate that, because it is a little bit of a promotional tool for them as well, because, you know, how much promotion does an artist from Lithuania get outside of Eurovision? It's very, very difficult. It's a very unique platform. So, but back to Connor, because he's not on the stream, right? So I can like say nice things without him getting an ego. Now, he's a wonderful person, and he's very caring, just in general, because when I had some health issues not too long ago, and it's like, well, I need to do this, and he's like, I'll handle it. I'm like, we got all this spread out by the team. Like, so what can I do? Don't worry about it. He's just that kind of person. So what you see is what you get with him. So be nice to him. Never be mean to Connor, because if you're mean to Connor, you have to go through us first. Very protective. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a knife, but I have a mirror.
Oh, that can hurt. That can hurt.
Yeah.
So
although I'd have to buy Bex a new mirror though if I smack someone over the head with her old one.
Yeah. Okay, Uppsala. What is giving you guys winner vibes at the moment? I think we already talked about it. I don't think it has changed yet. Your opinion, Gabe, right?
No, it has not. And I was discussing this with Sean earlier, and I'm becoming increasingly convinced that Finland's going to be more of a sell in the juries than we think. You know, my position is this. It has been this all along, and it is still this. Finland will win the televote by more than Sweden will win the jury, and that will carry Finland to victory. But naturally, if that's the scenario I'm envisioning, if Finland doesn't win, that would mean Sweden would win. And I think both of them would be fitting winners. Both of them give me winner vibes. At the moment, I think just the Loreen effect, maybe because because we're used to the Melfest performance, the Loreen effect isn't as strong on the stage in its current incarnation. But there's still time for that to change, of course.
Yeah. Plus, most people, I always say, though, they don't know the original staging. It is not as strong, but it is still strong. You know, the question is, will it be as amazing? I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, I'm almost on the same boat as you. The only thing is that I agree that Finland will win the televote, but I am still at the point where I'm worried that the difference that the jury will make will cause them to drop, kind of like not as extreme as Moldova, right, last year, but I could see more of a Goa kind of situation, and that is my biggest concern. These are just very broad comparisons. I'm not comparing the style, the sound, or anything, but there are certain songs that just don't go as far with the juice, and that's my concern. But I am getting a little bit more opening up to the idea that Finland could potentially do better with the juries, as some people expect. Because again, vocals, only one piece of the puzzle. And we have seen other songs where the vocals weren't that great. I mean, let's be real here. Benjamin Ingrosso's vocals were not anything to rave about in 2018, and he almost won the televote. The jury vote, I mean, excuse me. And there were others who were just like, Okay, that wasn't vocally that great, but it's just like the whole package.
I want to clarify because somebody said rightly 99% of people haven't seen the Melfest performance. My point is more that the Melfest performance was at a higher level than the current rehearsal state that we've seen at Eurovision. And so what I mean by that is that I think the Melfest performance of the standard of the Melfest performance would be in with a much better chance of winning than where we are currently. Obviously, you know, it goes without saying that we're still in rehearsals. There's a long way to go, and there's absolutely no reason why Loreen won't bridge that gap. That remains to be seen.
Yeah, well, there is a reason why Christian Björkman had to be flown into Liverpool, apparently. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's what people said yesterday, the day before. Because he don't met with the Björkman. I told you the story. Like I didn't recognize him; he recognized me, I guess.
Yes.
I'm more famous than he is, I guess. No, it was just funny.
I've never met Christa Björkman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was in Turin. I was walking along the arena outside because I think I just picked up my accreditation or something. I was walking around. I didn't quite because the signs were so bad there that I didn't know where to go. So I was walking around like crazy, and then I'm like, that person waves, says hi, and I'm like, hi, weirdo. No, I didn't say weirdo, but it was just like he knows me. I think I know him, but then I was like, oh my god, that was Christa. So funny. Anyways, I have a few more minutes here. At this point, do you think there is a possibility of a non-Finn Sweden? If so, who would it be? I see you nodding, Gabe. Are you thinking France is now in there, or you have other candidates in mind?
Actually, I had a different candidate in mind. I think France, in my opinion, what we've seen so far, it's exciting and shows the potential of that entry. I'm reserving more complete judgment just until we've seen a clip, so I can see how that sort of the big pyramid dress effect thing works in motion. I think Spain is still the one which people are not, people are not sleeping on, but underrating its chances of somewhat. This is the sort of song that could go huge with the juries. And do sufficiently well, much in the same path to victory. Because I see Finland winning the televote in all circumstances. But I see Spain potentially winning in the same circumstances as Sweden, where they blitz the jury vote and do well enough with the televote to win overall. So that would be my shock choice. But I'd say I may be, at the moment, I may be 40% Sweden wins, 45% Finland wins, 5% Spain wins. That's how I would break it down.
Can you see a universe, just to throw it out there? Because it sounds like, in your opinion, you are convinced at this point there's nothing we can say or do to convince you from Finland not winning the televote. But can you see a place that Sweden will not win the jury vote? You think that's still a possibility, or you think that's also almost set in stone?
Well, yes, I can. And that's part of the reason why I'm slightly more confident with Finland than I am with Sweden. I think Finland has all the hallmarks for me of a clear televote winner by a decent margin. Whether it'll be a big enough margin if they don't do too well with the juries remains to be seen. However, I see a number of competitors for those jury points.
Spain. Spain could easily win this. Spain screams jury. If it wasn't for Lorraine, I would say, like, give it to Spain, the jury vote. It's done. But France now is kind of rising. Yeah, but I totally agree with you. Sorry, go ahead.
But France is in there, but we've talked about some of these dark horses. Yeah. But people have mentioned in the chat today, and they have a point. Lithuania could take a big chunk out of the jury vote. And if you end up with a few more songs getting into that group, Cyprus's vocals are looking really good. Let's see how that performance develops, for example. If you get a few more into that group, what you can end up with is a jury spread where the jury winner, a bit like Switzerland some years ago, has to say 270 points. But if Finland then goes and bags 380 from the televote, which is not impossible, that's a massive, massive mountain for anyone else to climb. Just because if someone gets 380, it's impossible it's literally, there's not enough points available. It's impossible to get close to that kind of score. That's why I think there is this kind of, Finland has this wild card, in my opinion, that the others don't have. But that, of course, doesn't mean that one of the others won't win. I could be wrong about Finnish televote as well.
Yeah. Also, everyone kept asking about tomorrow. So I'll be on an airplane tomorrow, and The only way I can do a live stream is if I'm at the hotel, which I should be in time, because my flight lands in Paris, I think 3:30 local time, and so I hope to be at the hotel within like it's 5 o'clock maybe. I have to make my way all the airports to the city because
you're staying in the city.
Yes. Well, I'm not
going from you're arriving at 3:30.
Yes, it takes me like an hour, probably 45 minutes, an hour to get to Gare du Nord. I'm staying right next to Gare du Nord. I will not be there for the rehearsals, but the rehearsals, the clip. What?
I think you may be in the airport for a little while. It's a little slow over there.
It's a little slower over there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need at least an hour or so. That's what I'm saying. So, so if I leave, like, let's say at 4:30 or 5, and it takes me an hour to get there at 6. So, but the clip usually doesn't come out until 9, right? So I should have a little bit of buffer. Scared me. So expect the link at some point. I just cannot schedule it in advance, only because I don't know exactly how this is all going to pan out. Unless the team is available, they can do it, but I don't want to put more pressure on them. We'll see. So
I think it depends. Later on, we may well be. I'm not sure yet. I will let you know tomorrow as well.
Yes.
What we do.
Okay. Any questions at Eastern? We have a few more minutes. I think Italy will be a top 3 of the juries. Don't underestimate them. Can you see that happening, Gabe? I'm not saying no, but maybe because they frequently underperform with the juries for some reason, Italy. I don't know what this song contributes that would make them go crazy, if anything. I mean, I love the song. It's one of my favorites, right? So I'm not like bashing on the song, but I'm getting more like, look at Poland 2016. Fantastic vocals. Little old-fashioned ballad, and the juries just didn't go for it. So I get a similar vibe from Italy this year, not to the same extent. I'm not saying they're going to come second to last, but I just don't know if this is as jury-yay as some people may think. But that's just a fear or a hunch.
I think potentially yes. I say it's one of the less likely to make the top 3 of the jury vote, but I think it's not impossible. It's in that group of, and I think at the moment we can only say potential runners and riders that could really take a big step forward and pick up a huge chunk of jury points. Like I said, it's the presence of that group that I think makes the jury side more open than people are expecting. But unfortunately, I don't think it has the strength to win in the way that Sweden, France, and mind blank Spain do. So for me, it's a probably not impossible, but probably not.
Yeah, and sometimes you just go with what, and the juries change every year, so every jury is the same as the next one. So that's another thing to take consideration. But just based on patterns and what's in the running, I leaning towards, I agree with Gabe. It's just also just hard to guess sometimes, because as I said before, oftentimes the juries randomly clutch to a specific song that we did not see coming, right? And that could happen again. It could be Italy. Absolutely. Italy could be the one that just like all went for regardless. We're talking about the North Macedonia 2019, Austria 2018. Even not winning, you don't have to win the jury, but you can much higher than we all thought. And there's always one song every year. I feels like it. So I expect there's going to be one curveball coming our way as well. Could be Lithuania, although we have it on the radar now, so maybe it's not that much of a curveball. But there's another song that Greece all of a sudden is like super high with them. I'm just picking one random one.
Yeah.
So, let me see here. How did you feel about the amount of backing vocals on Cyprus? Somebody's asking. We mentioned that earlier. We did mention that this is number one, very common. And as I said, I wish we would have more live vocals. That's one of my big pet peeves, but they're also holding back right now. And especially when you have to hit high notes that really, if you messed up your voice, you will not hit them. So it's most likely that Andrew is really saving his voice right now. So anytime when you have like these high notes, don't sing them, drink a lot of tea at home, and just save them as much as possible. Somebody mentioned earlier as well, like that is an excuse because all these famous rock stars do concerts all for months in a row, weeks in a row, and they don't do that. It's a very different environment because you're not required to be on a TV show every night where every little mishap is immediately noticed. It's a very different environment. Rock shows are meant to be flawed, if you will. You know, the live act form about it makes it real. And you go to a group who already know you and love your music. They're not going to judge you if you don't hit that one high note where it needed to be hit. So it's a very different group, a very different audience, and very different purpose. So I would not compare those two things. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. No, not much to add to what you said on that, really. I am interested. There's a couple of other suggestions. And again, people are saying like Israel, Georgia, and again, those could be in there. I mean, Georgia could be the like Matt was talking about Austria in 2018. That Georgia could slot into that, you know, vote this year and go fly and go flying up the scoreboard. It's difficult to say at this point. I think we'll have a better idea after the semi-finals who is most likely to do that. But obviously, a few more days of nervous waiting before we get to see that.
Yes. Don't you think that the juries, which is only 185 people, have too much power, Gabe?
So it's an interesting question. I mean, the thing that the juries, the reason I'm going to say no, although I would expand the juries if I could, is because they have taken some measures to limit the negative power of juries. So the logarithmic ranking instead of the numeric ranking, so that you can't firebomb a song by putting it 26th. But they, as we see, because the difference, actually, in my opinion, the differences between the televote and the jury justify both in a way, because they look at these songs in a fundamentally different way. I think the fact that they are musical professionals and so on adds some credibility to it. I think the fact that it does provide certain protections against block voting from countries. So, for example, it's not perfect. The Greece-Cyprus example is a really good one of this. But for example, the UK very regularly gives 12 points to Lithuania in the televote. How boring would it be if we just had televotes and every year you got round to the UK and it's like, oh, and the UK gives 12 points to Lithuania. And
yeah, Ireland, the same thing. Norway, even, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay.
Yes.
Great. What else have you got for us? Like, it does make for a better show, and it changes some of the things. We talk about songs that could do really well with the jury and terribly with the televote. It enables those songs to flourish. In fact, that's why I would have kept juries. I disagree with the change to the semi-finals. I would have kept it as it was before, and I think they may return to it when they can deal with the shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yes. I always say that jury votes, they're not perfect. This system is not perfect. The televotes are not perfect. Many issues. I will say, in a perfect universe, I wish it would be 100% televote. We're like, really just people vote for their favorite song and that song wins. But that's not the reality we live in, unfortunately, in the televote world. And therefore, you have to balance it out. And I feel like the two less than perfect systems create a better system by having that both a little countered. And it is up in my book to the EBU to work on these issues, both the televote and the juries. And I feel as they could do more on that front. But it's easy for me to sit here and just complain and criticize them. I understand it's also not an easy thing. But for that reason, I am very much in favor of juries. But I'm also in favor of expanding them to add more people. Logistically, it becomes more difficult. I get there's so many issues comes with it, but on paper, I want that as well. All right, so
jury members should not know. You should not know who your fellow jury members are.
No, that would be a great thing, but it's hard to control 37 of 40 broadcasts and that they don't tell anything. I actually am more in favor of more strict penalties. Last year it was almost just a slap on the wrist, and that should have been a bigger deal. But you don't want to scare away too many people either. So I have to jet out because I have to finish packing for my trip. Are you staying or are you leaving, Gabe?
So I will get going too.
Okay.
I'm getting early night as I only had 3 hours sleep as I was on my way. So I will be off too.
I'll follow me on Twitter. I'll keep you updated on my long journey, on what's happening. And I will be in Paris tomorrow around 3:30 Central European time. And I'll try to get to the airport as quickly as possible if the airport allows me. Gabe scared me off a little, but shall see. Fingers and toes crossed. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll talk to you later.